Tim.
Not Mark.
So landfills are ugly and eyesore, and they're dirty and cause a lot of problems within the community, such as pollution of the air and water. 95% of the trash that's taken to landfills is actually recyclable material. So a lot of that waste that's in landfills can actually be prevented. 30 to 40% of the food supply is also wasted, so that's a huge potential profit that's wasted as well. There's the saying, you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So currently in the Evansville area, the landfill is getting too full. The landfill in the Vanderburgh County has a capacity of 6.6 million cubic yards. And if the rate of trash taken to the landfill continues at a constant rate, it will be full in 20 years. The big problem with that is that a lot of the surrounding counties have a lower rate of when their landfills will be full. So that rate will actually be higher, and the landfill will actually fill up way sooner than that because they're going to have to send their trash somewhere. And obviously the community doesn't want to open up more land for the landfills to expand.
Since we're having a capacity issue, we looked up to find out what other ways we could solve this issue, and we came up with a waste management facility. Here's an example of one that they have in Washington State here. The current waste management company, just like what they have here in Evansville, brings in trash from the trash that they pick up daily and weekly. They bring it in from all residential and commercial areas. The employees separate the trash out, and as Paige was initially saying earlier, out of 100% of trash that they bring in, 95% of that is sorted out and either switched over to be composted, or it is switched out to be, right here is an example of a compactor that makes it into square bales, and they turn it into this here, these little small square bales, and they send them off to waste management, or not, excuse me, not a waste management facility, but a recycling center, and a recycling center will take those materials and they end up shipping them off to whichever place they need to go to there, as far as bottles or glass, aluminum or what have you there, and they send them off to be broke down and so they can be reused again. So they don't have to take stuff out of the environment again. This stuff can be recycled and put into something usable. And Mark will explain more about the composting next here on the next slide.
So as you can see here, there are a lot of things that can be composted. With our composting side, we're going to be providing restaurants and grocery stores with their own refrigerated bin to put their food in. So if you go to a restaurant, you know, they're just scraping up food into the trash can and it's all being thrown away. But with ours, they're going to be able to put it in a separate bin, and they're going to be able to make it, we're going to be able to make it into compost that we can sell to either farmers or retail stores to be sold. And for the next slide, we have just 5 things we took from that big list you saw. So we have paper towels, coffee grounds, Sunday comics, Q-tips, and produce trimmings from a grocery store. Those are just some of the common things you see. So you might ask, why was it necessary for Washington State to build their facility? They were having capacity issues as well with their landfills, and they didn't want to expand their land and have to create more land just to throw away more materials. They wanted to meet the needs of the community. The community doesn't want pollution in the area and to expand their land. They wanted to convert waste into valuable resources. That 95% is just being thrown into their landfills right now. Saving the community money, and we're protecting the environment as well, like I said, with the pollution.
So the groups that we're going to target, obviously waste management, we're going to partner with them, have them kind of create a facility to do this so that they can use their trucks to bring the trash to the facility to be sorted. And then after the facility is operational, we would target the recycling centers to sell the recycled material to, so they can transform it into reusable material. And then also farmers and retailers for the compost, so we can sell compost and fertilizer to them for profit. Here's a little bit about how our revenue would work from that. So obviously the recycled material will be sold to companies such as material recycling incorporated, and then we would sell the compost to farmers in bulk, and that would cost a little bit less, and then we would sell the compost to like retailers at a slightly higher price than the retailers would sell it to like the general public or consumers and stuff like that.
Here's our business model canvas. Like we said before, the problem is landfills are filling up. Right now, there's no composting either in restaurants and grocery stores. Our solution to that is improving recycling efforts, and we're reducing landfill use by sorting out that 95%, and we're composting. No composting is being done with restaurants and grocery stores now. Our unfair advantage over the competition, really no competition right now around here. A lot of it's just being thrown away. So we're saving time for the consumers. They will just have to throw their recycled material and their trash into one place. They won't even have to separate it into a separate bin like they do now. We're going to do all that sorting for them. We're going to make revenue. We're going to make revenue off of the compost and the recycled materials now that's just being thrown away, composting, and we're providing bins for food waste for the restaurants and grocery stores. The channels, it's going to be delivered by Waste Management, and then they're going to be bought, our materials are going to be bought by the farmers, retailers, and the recycling centers. So the cost, obviously we're going to have to build this facility, and he's going to go into more of the cost later on. Employee wages and then the bins that we provided are going to cost us, but we're going to make our revenue off of selling our compost and our recycled materials. And for our value proposition for landfills that are reaching capacity, Recomco is going to provide an alternate solution to reuse materials instead of just piling them all up.
In conclusion, it's all about capacity. Everybody knows this. We're running out of room. They're not going to have, in 20 years, they're not going to be able to have any more trash being put up on top of the hill. No one wants a landfill built beside their house that I can think of in this room or anywhere else. So this waste management facility will solve this issue and this problem that we have. The waste management facility that got built in Washington State, it cost $18 million to be built. I'm not saying we'd have to have one that big, but just on theirs alone, it was $18 million to be built, and in a 5-year period, they're making $65 million back, and it's continually to grow. So for them to build this, it would make them look good in the community, it would help clean up the community, and it also help provide jobs, and as I said, make the community a much cleaner place.